Hello YouTube. Today I am bringing you a live play video of a 10-cent, 25-cent deep stack game. I'm gonna check back my kings here. Betting is certainly a viable option. Most of the time my hand should be good. Also, maybe I should bet. Also, I'm gonna check back. Uh, also, like a flush draw might not want to call, or a wrap might not want to call. But I decided to check back um, basically with the theory that by checking back the flop, I can determine whether or not my passive opponents have a 9 without betting. So if they checked me again on the turn, then I bet. And if they... This is kind of a close open or not. I'm not going to open it. So a pretty good table today. No regulars. I table select away from regulars. I'm just gonna. All right, and we get another good table draw. So this is really this is perfect. I've got 5 opponents, none of whom are regulars, and I should theoretically be getting some value from each of these players. Usually what happens when I'm table selecting is I'll find a game, often 2 recreational players start a heads-up match and I join, and then I'll put up with a few regulars as they get in the game because you don't really have a choice. But I really try to find these games where there's no regs at the table. I think that this really increases my win rate, and because of that, it reduces my negative variance. If you can play in games where you have a bigger edge, then you're going to spend a lot less time stuck. And you see I'm one tabling right now. I don't always one table, but I like to one table or 2 table. I think it's important in poker to take some time to really consider your decisions, to try to learn about the game and think about what's happening. Got a playable hand here, but I don't like my position with regards to the pre-flop raiser as well. All these guys could re-raise still. Are a little bit deep here. It's not a bad hand. I have some gin flops. All the straights I can hit would be second nut, which is a little unfortunate. So I just haven't been at this table too long. You can see I've played 17 hands here. So don't really have any very well developed reads. You can see the statistics here giving me some indication of how my opponents play. The numbers, there's 4 of them, well, 5 of them. So the top number in blue is the number of hands, and then the first number is VPIP, or voluntarily put in pot, and this represents as a percentage how loose my opponents are, how likely they are to put money in the pot. The second number, pre-flop raise, again a percentage. I should have called it. And that is how often they raise before the flop, and then the third number. Aggression factor, this is not a percentage, but the higher this number is, the more aggressive they have been. And the last number, which is 0, or not applicable yet for this guy, is how often they re-raise for the flop. So the lower that last number, the more likely they are to have a strong hand when they 3-bet pre-flop. Fairly deep with these 3 players: Omar, Jan Verb, and Ed Simao. So hopefully we get into some interesting situations. It's good to get experience playing deep stack games as well as short stack games, and you want to sort of have played in every situation, in every style of play. You want a comprehensive understanding of strategy in Pot Limit Omaha. Deep stack games have the potential for some real profits. You can get these. You can get it all in as a huge favorite for a lot of big blinds. But you don't always want to necessarily be deep stacked. Your optimal stack size is a function of your opponent's skill and their stack size. Essentially, you want to be where the fish are, right? If the fish are deep, then you want to be deep. If the fish are shallow and there's a couple deep stack ranks, then you want to be shallow. Double suited 4s here in position, but this is a very bad hand. Not everything. So just fold. The downside of one tabling is can be a little dull sometimes. You don't really get that many playable hands in poker, especially if you're knitting it up. But you also you want to be careful about what Mike Caro calls going dark. So what he says, not playing a hand for a while, because well, a lot of people think that their fishy opponents are just going to call them no matter what. That's not really true. Right? These guys, they're not coming from the same sort of line of thought as a more professional player, but they're still observing the game, making reads. They're still playing poker. They're just doing so with a slightly different skill set of a player who plays for a living. So it is important to consider table image and advertising, and you don't want to play too tight, because they'll pick up on that and they won't give you action on your big hands. Right? These guys want to make calls, right? That is their natural inclination. So if you run a few bluffs or just open some marginal hands, then that is going to sort of reinforce their natural inclination to make some loose call downs when you have the goods. Pretty tempting to make a stab here for image considerations. I want to cultivate an aggressive attacking image. Fairly ginish turn, all things considered. Probably still have to fold to a raise. And I can check fold this river. You don't want to be trying to make any. Yeah, it was in really bad shape on the flop. And no doubt the bet there in a clinical sense is unprofitable, but my real motive was simply to uh, begin to develop this loose attacking image, which isn't at all true, right? My real strategy is to simply wait for situations where I'm stronger than my opponent and then to raise, right? But that's not what I want my opponents to believe my strategy is. I want them to think that I'm always trying to steal pawns and that I'm raising with weak holdings, and I want them to feel comfortable just calling me down. But I don't want them to think that I'm weak and I'll fold if they raise me, because I certainly don't want them to put me in tough spots. I want them to take sort of weak, passive, loose lines where they're just calling down, so I can set up so I can set up big value bets on the river and get them to call me drawing slim or dead. You got to think that well, I don't like having aggressive players on my left. I prefer to have them on my right. And I think that seat selection is almost as important as table selection. I think it was Ray Z. So I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet here. This guy seems to be opening over a very small sample size a lot of hands. Probably a very bad situation if I get 4-bet. And if I get check raised here, I'm going to fold. I do get check raised. A nice hand to him. I mean, there's no way to continue just one pair. You should have 2 pair or a wrap here, probably. I think I played that hand well. Certainly, heads up, top pair, top kicker, will drive board. I should c-bet, and I like the 3-bet deep in position. Build a pawn. Got a hand that's probably a nice favorite against him and can flop very good as well. Ace King 9-7, double suited. Pretty decent hand. These the 2 high suits are very important in PLO. Probably wouldn't be a great spot if I got pawned by these guys. Even maybe by this guy. I mean, you can't give a ton of credit to this 3-bet stat over a short period of time. And in 5-way pots, you really have to exercise a modicum of discretion on the flop here. This is simply not really a good situation. It's the sort of flop you might be able to bet. Well, you would be able to bet heads up, but 5-way you basically want to play when you smash the flop. Because you got to worry about 4 other guys, right? Any of them could have smashed the flop. Ace 10, 9-3, double suited. I'm going to limp along here. This hand's got some nut potential. It's not really great with the razor in position, tight range. behind me, but I think I can make up enough value from these loose calls to get in the pot. Really not much I can do on this flop except give up on the hand. I do have a very weak open-ended draw. Pretty nice double-suited rundown here. And I don't mind being against a very tight range with this hand deep in position, but I will not be continuing should my opponent continuation bet this flop. Well, the rigs have arrived, so I'm going to quit the table now. Unfortunately, I didn't really get in any interesting spots, so probably won't publicize this video too much. But thanks for watching.